Hello everyone, I am in Istanbul and today we will talk about the best area to live here. Why do I prefer this area among all the others and how did it deserve such love? We'll walk around it for a bit and at the end of the video I will tell you why I don't live in this area at this time. Well, let's go! In almost any city, if you live in a wrong place, it can ruin the whole experience of the trip. But in Istanbul it has a special meaning. Yes, in most of cities you need to live in the city center, but Istanbul is a huge city that is approaching 20 million inhabitants and also has a very complex geography. It is not so easy to understand where this center is located, where it is better to stay. Moreover, there are still elevations, relief and a lot of water, the Bosphorus. A bit complicated. This is not a standard city with a small center which can be understood just by looking at the map. In Istanbul, not everything is so obvious. Now I am in Istanbul for the 44th time in my life and have managed to live in very different areas. Usually I came here for a few days or up to a week, and from all of the areas that I have been here, for a short-term trip I will choose Sirkeci. This is definitely the best area. This is not quite a district, rather a micro-district near the station and tram stop. And this is exactly the place where you should look to stay if you are going to the city for tourism. I got to Sirkeci and right now there is a railway station next to me. It is famous for the fact that the Eastern Express came here. It was the same train that Agatha Christie wrote her famous detective about and the films were made. This is a train that goes through the whole of Europe. It has always been quite luxurious and still is. It arrives in Istanbul exactly here at this station. And speaking about the advantages of Sirkeci for life, the first one will be the fact that it is focused on tourists. This means that there are many hotels and many restaurants. I will leave a couple of links to good ones in the description under the video. And what is also important, almost everyone here speaks English. One way or another, they will be able to understand you and explain you something. And this is definitely a bonus, especially if you are visiting Istanbul for the first time. While walking around this area, I will also show interesting local places. Many of them are related to commerce. Now I want to show an interesting point where chikofte is sold. Chikofte was originally made from raw meat, which was mixed with various spices to disinfect it. But now raw meat is forbidden to sell in Turkey and it has been a vegan product made from bulgur. There are also meat versions with the addition of beef or lamb. And in Sirkeci there is a place with a very colorful seller of chikofte. There is usually quite a long queue. Earlier this man, when he got tired, especially at the end of the shift, could even hit or beat one of the customers. And it has become such a moment that only attracts buyers. and everyone began to walk only more to look at this man and how weird he makes everything.
В принципе, все из-за этого начали идти еще больше, чтобы посмотреть на него, на то, как колоритно он все делает.
Another important moment, because much has been done for tourists, places usually work longer.
И вот даже в период карантина, когда все заведения должны работать только на вынос, здесь можно найти много.
Even during the quarantine period, many places worked more freely than in other areas of the city. Some places took people inside when it was officially forbidden.
Все стараются получать свою пользу от туристов.
By the way, this is a very beautiful old building in Sirkeci. It is in bad conditions, but in terms of surroundings, it corresponds to something from fantasy or from the Middle Ages. It looks very lovely and uncommon.
Красиво и необычно выглядит. Довольно очевидно, что это
This area has become touristy not out of nowhere, and one of its main advantages is that you can walk on foot to most of the sites that are worth visiting in Istanbul.
к большинству достопримечательностей, которые стоит посмотреть.
Now ahead of me are the Sultan Ahmed Mosque or the Blue Mosque, Hagia Sophia, Topkapi, the Archaeological Museum, the Gulane Park. To my right, a 2-minute walk is the Egyptian Bazaar. A little further is the Soleimaniye Mosque, which is not only very attractive but also with an excellent view. Again, Sirkeci station can also be called a site. Inside it there is also a free railway museum. It is not far to walk to the Grand Bazaar, the largest covered historical market. And there is also a pier and a bridge across the Golden Horn Bay, where fishermen stand, and there are also many impressive local places. There is also a promenade where you can take a pleasant walk. From this point, the area is simply the best. I don't know of another one that is so close to all the places worth visiting in Istanbul. And now I am going to the Egyptian Bazaar, where my favorite Istanbul store is located, and we will see if something has changed there recently.
Случилось ли, поменялось ли что-то в карантин, в пандемию, потому что в этот раз я к нему еще не добирался.
As for me, the Egyptian Bazaar is more a beautiful architectural construction with attractive shops than the place where I would shop. It's too touristy. Also, here you can find good sweets and spices too. The fact that the store was working as usual became clear even 200 meters before it, because there was a very strong smell of coffee. This store always amazes me. There are always queues when it's open, and this is even so sellers work as quickly as possible. Everything here is done to serve visitors faster. Even the prices are focused on the fact that the payment should be round to be able to give change faster, and the weight of a package is adjusted to the round price.
20 лир, там, по-моему, 260 с чем-то было грамм, просто чтобы быстрее давать сдачу, чтобы очередь не останавливалась.
This is such an awesome example of the good work and commercial reputation of the place. Only one item is sold here. This is Turkish coffee, which has a very recognizable roast and its own taste. Yes, the same coffee can be bought in a store or supermarket, but it's always nice to go to their point near the Egyptian Bazaar, which looks nice and works very cool.
Возле египетского базара, которая просто нереально приятно выглядит и очень круто работает.
Recently, a large number of monuments dedicated to certain professions have appeared in Istanbul. There was a monument to a simit seller. I also saw a monument to a tailor and some other professions. This is a cool idea, and maybe one day there will be an application in which it will be possible to go to all such monuments and take a photo of them, like it is with the sculptures of gnomes in Wrocław. A cool feature of almost any part of Istanbul is the different small streets. Most of the time they look very impressive, and you can often find various interesting places there, tea or coffee houses and other places. Be sure to look around. There is so much hidden in the details here. And while I am waiting for my Turkish coffee, I'll tell you another important advantage of the Sirkeci area, and it is the transport accessibility of this area. In addition to the railway station, which I have already shown and which is unlikely to be needed by many tourists, there is a tram. It connects a lot of important places. There's also a Marmara stop here. Marmara is an underwater train that runs under the Bosphorus and connects the European and Asian parts of the city. And quite near is also the Green Metro line. It is also very important that Eminönü is nearby. Eminönü is a pier from where you can take a ferry to different parts of Istanbul, as well as go to the Princess Islands.
Это тоже такой очень весомый плюс этого района, который сделает жизнь здесь максимально удобной.
Transport accessibility is a very significant plus of this area, which will make life here as comfortable as possible. But remains the question of why I do not live in this area if it is so good. The answer is pretty simple. I will probably always choose Sirkeci if I am going to Istanbul for a few days. But this time I came to Istanbul for more than a month and decided to live in a different area. And I also wanted to choose an area that would be quieter, where you can also walk comfortably and take a calm walk when there are not many people around. And I chose for this purpose Cihangir, which is located below Taksim. And I am very pleased with this choice, because for a longer stay in Istanbul it is perfect. But if you are going to Istanbul just as a tourist and for a few days, then Sirkeci will be a great choice. Yes, and I also wanted to stay in an apartment, not a hotel. In Sirkeci, I didn't find an apartment that I would especially like. This area is more about hotels and not about living in an apartment. Okay, now I will be moving on to my Turkish coffee. I am finishing a short walk around Sirkeci. I hope the information in this video was helpful to you. Subscribe to this channel and see you soon.